Come on, baby, lay back, just like that. Get them legs on the leather seat, stones on the 8-track. Top down on the 2-lane, we can go any old road.
Hi, I'm Linda Heldman with Canadian Beats. With me today I have JJ Hunter, the oldest member of the Hunter Brothers, who have recently been signed to Open Road Recordings. And they're currently on a across Canada radio tour. And we thank you very much, JJ, for joining us today to talk.
Hi, Linda. It's great being here. Thanks for having me.
Well, I enjoyed hearing you when you were on our Kick station back last week, and it's like, hey, I definitely have to talk to these guys. So I'm glad we could make this happen. So I have a list of So I do have a list of questions, and I guess, well, before we get started, do you want to tell us a little bit about the Hunter Brothers? Like, I personally know that you're 5 brothers from Shaunavon, Saskatchewan. If you want to take a little bit from there and tell us a little bit about yourself, that'd be great.
Yeah, you bet. We are 5 brothers, and that's a question that typically gets asked right away, if we are all actually brothers, and the answer is yes. And then on top of that, and the next question is typically, do you have other brothers or any sisters? And the answer is no, it's just the 5 of us. And yeah, we grew up on a farm. We love farming. It's actually where we make our lives right now. We're still in southwestern Saskatchewan, a little town of about 2,000 people. Farming is probably the primary industry there. And in a little prairie town, what is there to do other than farming in the summer, hockey in the winter? That's kind of what we did. We played a lot of hockey. 4 of us played junior, 3 of us played professionally, and all of us actually played at a high level growing up. And so that was a huge part of our lives. But the other side of the coin was that we loved music as well. We had a grandfather on our dad's side that was self-taught in multiple instruments, and we had a great relationship with him, and he loved teaching us how to chord and how to play the piano and whatnot. And so at a quite a young age, Mom and Dad put us at piano, and that's kind of where the music started. Grandpa was influential. Dad's actually older 3 siblings sang in a trio, and Grandpa would accompany them. And so I guess the singing side of it was something that we started doing from young as well. When it was just Dusty and I were the 2 oldest, Mom and Dad had us singing in church, and as we got a little bit older and more boys came along, there was a gospel festival that started up down in our area. And that's kind of where we got our start. We started singing as a family, and the way life went is we'd go away and we'd play hockey in the winter. We'd come home whenever our season was done and help Dad put the crop in the ground, and then on the weekends we'd sing. And we got to the point where we were booked for most of the weekends throughout the summer, and we were fitting in training for the upcoming hockey season in between there as well. And it was just, life was very busy. It always has been, but it was full, but it was a lot of fun. And we had a father that put a lot of emphasis on time usage, and so with that as a focus, I guess we all were involved in a lot of things, and music was something that we absolutely loved.
That's great. That's great. Actually, you just answered one of my questions, because I was going to say that you grew up on a family farm playing hockey, you sang, and when you talk about how busy it is, you didn't even mention school. So you throw that in there. There was not a lot of free time, obviously. So you gave it sounds very busy, definitely.
Yeah, that's right. We had a lot going on, and just the farm by itself was full time enough to say nothing about the hockey and the music, and then the school, of course, on top of it. And we were heavily involved in other things in our church at home, and so there was a lot going on every single day. There weren't too many downs.
Wow. Well, I love the fact that your family is very strongly church-based. It's nice. It's refreshing in this day and age when life itself seems to get very chaotic. I find that if you have that spiritual connection, you're more grounded. So have you been able to keep your faith strong as you're venturing out into this craziness of the music business?
Without question, Linda. I mean, we love music, and we think it's something that God created, and it's a gift to us, and that will always be. Before we ever signed with Open Road, I mean, that's been a huge blessing in and of itself. But long part of our lives. That's regardless of where we're at or what we're doing. We love music too much for it not to be a huge part of our lives. And the faith aspects, to be honest with you, is what binds us together. It's the foundation that we all do everything from. And we're singing country music now, and we love the country, we love the farm, we love the roots of country music. And when we were listening to and watching actually the roots of country music and where it got its start from, and when you look at the old artists, and much of it came from that working the soil, genuine, hard-working people that sang about real life and the struggle that it was to make a living out in the fields or wherever it was, and we really relate to that. But at the core of who we are, our faith, our Christian faith, is paramount, and we still cling to that. We always will, and we think there's a lot of great things to sing about. We love singing about relationships and family and farming and hard work and the open skies, and there's no end to things that relate to the country world. But at the same time, our faith is very central to who we are and what we do, and will remain that way. And we're just thankful that we can do this together, and that fact plays into it as well. I mean, being five brothers, we believe strongly in family, and believe that that's something that is extremely important. And so that hopefully resonates no matter what we're singing about or what stage we're on or where we're at. We hope that kind of comes out loud and clear.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Definitely. Well, when I have read up on you and family and stuff like that, and what I've heard, I mean, I have two different Canadian artists that come to mind. One obviously is High Valley, which we can talk a little more about later, but they also have that strong spiritual base, and they have no problem singing about what they believe in and talking about gospel. Paul Brandt's another one that for all the songs he does, he always throws in a song or two that mentions his connection with the Lord. So I appreciate those songs, and they're the ones that, for me, I tend to gravitate to. So yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely, and those ones that have gone before us, George Canyon's another one, Paul
Yes.
Brandt, High Valley, those guys are guys that we have looked up to for a lot of years, and the High Valley guys specifically have been great friends for many, many years, and really have been instrumental in paving the way for us, and knowing that where you stand doesn't have to be compromised as you step forward in the music industry. And I'm thankful for those guys that have gone before, and really respect and look up to them, and continue to lean on them for advice and wisdom. And Brad, especially from High Valley, is the guy that we're constantly in touch with, and we appreciate the friendship, but we also appreciate even more so the stand that they've taken.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, just not to get too much off on the gospel part of it, but when I have been able to attend Boots and Hearts Sunday, they always have a Sunday morning gospel service, and that has been a highlight for me every year that I've attended, because it just puts you in a different place and a different perspective. And High Valley have hosted it, I believe it's 2 years. Paul Brandt hosted it a year. There's 1 year I wasn't there, and I can't remember who did. Oh, the first year it was Carrie Underwood and Mike Fisher.
Right.
And Michelle Wright was there. So, hopefully we'll see you at Boots and Hearts for one of these Sunday gospel mornings as well. I think that would be really good. So if anyone from Boots and Hearts is listening, you want the Hunter brothers there.
Well, thank you. If that opportunity comes, we would jump at it.
Awesome. So let's talk a little bit about El Dorado. It's your debut single. It was released on February the 5th. It actually debuted on the charts at number 87, which is really amazing. Within 24 hours, it climbed to number 73. So that's significant. And then I saw you posted on February 9th that it had cracked the top 10, or the top 9 on the iTunes country chart. That must have been the most incredible feeling. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, it's been really surreal in many ways, and oftentimes I'll equate our experience in the music with the hockey, because the hockey was such a big part of our lives, and a world that we really understand. We're just getting our feet wet and learning the ropes in the country music world, and so the hockey often is where I draw my comparisons or analogies from. But in the hockey world, you have these dreams and these aspirations as a kid growing up. You see the Stanley Cup being raised over the players' heads, and you dream of making the NHL and winning a Stanley Cup. And for many years, that was the goal that we pursued. But on the flip side, with music being such a part of our lives as well, there's always that idea in the back of your mind, like, that what would it be like to sign a record deal? Or what would it be like to actually hear your own song on a radio station? And those are things that we've been able to experience and feel extremely blessed to experience. The fact that you hear a song on the radio that you recorded, that you put your time and effort and everything else into, and then hearing the response back of the people is really incredible. And you kind of equate it with scoring that first pro goal, I guess, in a way. And so for us, it's been really special. The response has been incredible. We come from a small town in Saskatchewan, and really we played a lot of hockey there, and we just have felt an incredible amount of support from our province, from our hometown of Shaunavon, and from a lot of people that we had interacted with either back when we were singing as a family in the gospel circles, or in the hockey world, or even more recently since we started doing things as a band, as brothers, and that really is a testament to the people that have supported us. The fact that it jumped up to number 9 on the iTunes country charts, that quick out of the gate was just, and it blew us away. And that really has nothing to do with us, but has everything to do with the people that listened to the song and stood behind it and let others know and decided to jump on board. And so we're extremely thankful for that. And we know that the people at home are behind you. It gives you a great deal of confidence to step out beyond that. So having it added to radio stations across the country, and now having the opportunity of going into different stations, has been really, really special. The fact that we get to do it together is one thing. The fact that it's a song that you have worked hard and recorded and put out there, and people believe in it enough to listen to it and then play it on radio, and then hearing the feedback, the encouraging feedback that makes its way back to you, it means an extreme amount to us.
It's a fabulous song, and if anyone hasn't heard it, I suggest go to wherever you can. There are many videos on YouTube right now where you are performing it at the various radio stations, and it's just such a great song. Like, for example, I have to give Kix another shout out, because they have been playing it very regularly, and I love it. Yesterday, it was a beautiful day here. The sun was out, and I had the windows down a little bit, and the song came on the radio, and it's like the radio got cranked, and I was just like, oh yeah, this is a summer driving song. Absolutely. So, so I haven't been to iTunes yet to purchase it, but I definitely have to, and that's going to be part of my summer 2016 road trip and music, because I love it. It's amazing.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate it. And that really, for a first single, as a new artist, that was what, it's an upbeat, or it's a song that is just a groove and cruising tune.
Yeah.
And we hope that it relates to a lot of people. And yeah, it's not a really deep song, but it's a fun, loving song. And there's a lot of validity to that, coming from a country where we've got a lot of open skies, at least where we're from, and being able to cruise up and down the road. That was one of my favorite memories as a kid. I remember Dad taking us up and down the roads when we were out checking fields or crops or whatever it was, whether it was on the highway or a good road. And, the window would come down, and we'd put our hand out the window and feel the air going up and down over the hand. And that's kind of what it reminds us of. So it's related on a lot of levels.
Now, did you write the song El Dorado?
We actually did not write that particular song. We have done some writing in some of the songs that we are looking at as possible singles that are coming out in the future. We did write on, in fact, one of the ones that's being strongly considered, we wrote with Brad Rempel of High Valley and the producer Seth Mosley. But El Dorado specifically, we didn't write, but it was a song that we fell in love with for a lot of reasons. There's some sentimental value there as well. Our mother's brother, so our uncle, died very suddenly a few years ago, and he was actually a Cadillac man. He owned in El Dorado, and so when Mom heard the song because of what had happened with her brother, it meant a lot to her. She burst into tears immediately.
Oh.
I mean, that's a typical mom response with whatever her boys bring home, I guess. Take a song we could move into the mic and she'd cry. But still, with that connection with her brother and the fact that we recorded it, it meant a lot, and it means a lot on a lot of levels. So it's always special when you can record songs that are not just words or not just melody lines, but actually have some connectivity to your life as well.
And I think that's why it's so successful, because that song really does fit you, and if you can relate to it, even though you didn't write it, you've made it your own. So it has significance. So that's good. And we should mention that because we have talked about Brad Rempel and High Valley, that Brad was one of the co-producers for that song. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And we could talk all night about Brad and his influence on us and the friendship that we had. We grew up singing at small Western Canadian gospel festivals with the High Valley guys. And their band has had a few different looks over the years, and eventually has landed where they are now with Curtis and Brad. But when his brother Brian was playing bass with them, we tell a story that we remember one of the first times that we ever played with them. It was down at a festival right in Shaunavon. And I think if you would have split Brian's bass up beside him, his bass would have been taller than he was. And it was, right from that point, they've been great friends. We have so many connections. Small town in Western Canada, of course, in northern Alberta, up in the Creeks, it's a long ways from Shaunavon, but we have that connection of being from Western Canada, the farm, the hockey, the music, the faith. There's a lot of things that we found a lot of common ground on. Say nothing about, we just loved hanging out together.
Yeah.
And so that friendship, surpassed all those young ages or continued on through those young ages, and as we grew up and as we played hockey and they continued to find their first record deal and have continued to find success, that connection was continued. It was a little bump in the road actually that we had in the actual music world, and I called Brad for some advice and some thoughts, and he jumped right on board and jumping in alongside us and introduced us to Seth Mosley, who produced the County Line album, and we did some writing with him. He co-produced El Dorado, and really opened the doors for us to meet and interact and eventually sign with RTK and Oak Road. And so if it wasn't for Brad, we can honestly say that we would be where we're at today. And so our thanks goes out to him and to Curtis and the guys that have stood behind us and believed in us. While they've been still climbing on their own, it's one thing when it's somebody that now can set their things aside because it's no longer relevant, and they try to promote someone else. But this was all the while they were extremely busy and continuing to climb and do things in the country world. And we just felt such camaraderie and such help, and we really are appreciative of Brad and his friendship.
Well, it really does help to have friends in the industry that can be there when you're going through the struggles, and if they can lend a helping hand to offer it, and that's one of the things I love about Canadian country is it doesn't matter what corner of the country you're from. Once you get introduced, you're immediately family, and that's one of the things I love about the CCMAs, because this year will be my 6th consecutive CCMA, and I hope you guys are going to be in London this year.
Well, that's the hope, and we sure hope that we can be there as well.
But it is you'll find that you meet people, and yes, it's about networking. And they have jam sessions. You never know. You're in a hotel, and all of a sudden, in the lobby, so and so will grab a good couple of guitars, and someone else will step in. And we've used tables for drumming, and it's great. You never know where the music's going to happen. Plus, there's all these showcases, and I can't speak enough about the CCMA organization. They always do a fantastic job. And actually, next year, 2017, it's going to be back in Saskatoon. So, hopefully we'll see lots of you being showcased, and who knows, maybe even an award or two. Fingers crossed.
Well, we don't want to get ahead of ourselves too much. There's a lot of great music and a lot of great musicians. And we're just thankful to have been given the opportunity we have, and we'll see where it lands. We're excited for what's ahead. We're excited for the possibilities that there are, but we also have a great respect for how many great Canadian musicians and musicians all over the world that there are. And so we don't want to have any notions that things are going to get carried away on our end, but we sure do appreciate everybody that has supported us along the way, and we're excited about what could possibly be ahead.
Well, you're certainly hard workers, and that's not just with music, that's with every aspect of your life from what I can see. And hard work goes far, absolutely. So I wish you guys all the best. I won't keep you too much longer, but is there an album or an EP coming out soon?
Well, we are working towards that end, Linda. We right now are focusing on the single, and once that's done, hopefully there'll be some more singles to come, and then an album to follow that. So hopefully in the near future we'll have the opportunity to release an album. But right now it's a single, with more to come, and hopefully an album down the road.
Okay, so it's just one single at a time till you feel that comfort zone to say, okay, we're ready to release the EP or an album, or whichever way it goes.
Yeah, we've had lots of discussions with the label about that, and we have some songs that we love, and we're looking forward to sharing with the radio and the country world, and as things continue to progress, if things do continue in the same light, we'll have an album release hopefully in the near future.
Okay. So when does your radio tour wrap up?
We're actually en route right now from Fredericton to Kingston, Ontario. So we wrapped up our maritime swing here today, and we'll continue with Southern Ontario tomorrow. And I think we are going to wrap up on the 6th of April. And then it's deadheading it home on the bus and jumping on the tractors. It looks like we're kind of targeting, depending on weather, we're targeting April 11th to start the field. So
oh, wow.
It's not going to be much of a turnaround time. We're not going to have much time at home before we're headlong into the long, crazy feeding hours. So,
oh, wow.
That's life as we know it.
Well, that's great. Well, I drive safe. I really hope you have safe travels. No foul weather or anything to hold you up. So, yeah.
Well, thank you very much for having me, Linda. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to talk to you, JJ. Say hi to the rest of the guys for me. And, you come back to Sudbury, we definitely have to meet up for a coffee or something.
Okay, we had a great time in Sudbury. We're very much appreciative of the station there, and we actually had a great experience at the hotel that we stayed at. I met some great people, so we're looking forward to coming back. Great.
Well, thank you so much, and I appreciate your time. And we'll talk to you again soon.
All right, Linda.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.